Hey, this is Greg Gray, Dope Living TV Live. Hey, man, look, I don't know why I cut off like that. Shouldn't cut off like that, but still, hey, welcome to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Been a day. Hey, the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. It is ours, Dope Living Crew. Yes. So today we are talking, this whole week we're talking about abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence, abuse of any type. You know, how do we get through that? How do we work ourselves through abuse, especially, you know, females, but, you know, men can be, they can be mentally abused or domestically abused, domestic violence. They can be in that same situation, same boat. So we're going to explore that all week. Yesterday we had a young lady on whose daughter was a part of a sex trafficking situation, and you know the trials and tribulations that she's going through. So you know we want to continue to hold her up and to make sure that she's at least knows that she, you know, there's people out there that has her back. And that's what we do here at DopelivenTV Live. So we're talking this today, though. We're going to try to discuss a little bit about child abuse. What are the signs of child abuse? How can you know that your child is abused or being abused? How do you work through that situation? And if they have been abused, how do we reverse that action, that motion? We want to explore all of that. I want to welcome everybody that's on Twitter, that's checking us out, everybody on YouTube that's checking us out. We want to make sure that we leave at least a message of hope. Let's bring some positivity to the whole situation, and let's get it like that. So, having said that, I don't know if I did this correctly, but I did. Having said that, so child abuse, man, basically is anything that's, well, I really don't want to relegate it to child abuse the entire time. You know, we want to put some other stuff on it too, but you know, child abuse is let's welcome Jocelyn to the show, by the way. What's up, Jocelyn? Hope everything is well.
Everything is well. Copacetic.
So we're talking about child abuse. We're talking about abusive situations. We're talking about domestic violence, all of that stuff this week. But today we're kind of throwing a conversation out there about child abuse. I was reading here, child abuse is when a parent or caregiver, whether through action or failing to act, causes injury, death, emotional harm, or risk of serious harm to a child. There are many forms of child maltreatment, including neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, exploitation, and emotional abuse. I don't know if they left anything out, but I think, you know, that as a child, well, to be a child, you're born into this world into innocence. There's no, you don't have any mess involved in your life at that, you know, you don't know about it, I should say. And the adults are the ones that put that into their lives, relatives sometimes. And as we discovered yesterday, that, you know, if you're abused or abducted, I'll say, things can happen, man. So I'm not real up on child abuse either, just like I wasn't up on the situation yesterday, which really shocked me. But this one doesn't shock me. I know that there are abusive situations in households with children. Sometimes when they're of age, I'll say, to start really getting out there and socializing, they get put into situations that they really don't want to be in. And I don't know, you know, I really can't speak on it. I can only go by what I read, but I would love to hear from you, Jocelyn. Don't look like that. You got the normal glasses on today too, but I would just want to hear your thoughts on it. That's all. Wow, thinking loud. I know it's a hard subject. It's a
I
very
mean, it's not that, but I mean, all this stuff is wild. You know, when you sit back and you exist in your bubble, you wonder how, when, why, where. It You try to make sense of it, and I mean, from my I'm very bright, but I'm not that bright. With that being said, there's a lot of things that I wish I could explain away. I really do. I wish I could explain away. I wish I could connect the dots and make it make sense, but I just can't.
yeah. And I don't understand either. You know, a child, they're so innocent. They don't know too much of anything. But and I mentioned in the teaser that I gave, the post that I gave, that child abuse is, it's not just about black eyes. Physical abuse, and I'm reading this now, is shocking due to the marks it leaves, but not all signs of child abuse are as obvious. Ignoring a child's needs, putting them in unsupervised, dangerous situations, exposing them to sexual situations, or making them feel worthless or stupid are also forms of child abuse and neglect. They can leave deep, deep lasting scars on kids.
Well, Greg, I can say this for certain. No, hurt people hurt people,
Hmm.
and I don't care how you spin it, how you look at it. Hurt people hurt people, and so we get into situations where we got broken people trying to fix broken people, or broken people call themselves encouraging somebody else that's broken,
Yeah.
and hurt people, and so it hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of experts out there too. I mean, I got a problem with experts, you know, because, and I could be wrong. Like I said, I would never say anything that I say is the Bible, but you know, you got, even when you're in counseling with domestic situations, you go to somebody who's a counselor. They pick your brains. Me personally, I'm a private person. I don't want everybody in my business. I don't even want a counselor. I don't believe in counseling. You know, not that type of counseling. Spiritual counseling, heal my soul. Okay, this other situation will work itself out, but heal my soul, because if my soul is hurting, I'm not good.
Gina on the ones and twos.
Hey,
What's going on, Gina?
hey, Jocelyn.
Hey.
Greg.
How are you?
I'm good.
We on this child abuse thing, you know, and I think, like I said again, I don't know too much about it. Has there been situations that I've known of with abusive children in abusive situation? I guess a long time ago, when people would look at abuse, they would look at a child with black eye or bruises on his back and this and that. Okay, but you know, calling a child fat all the time, calling a child ugly, you know, um, that's a form of abuse. Do you agree, Gina?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mental abuse, verbal abuse, that's all a form of abuse. It's not always, hitting, spanking, whooping. You have a form of mental abuse, and verbal abuse is just as bad. One of the things that I see and sometimes hear, and I have friends that grew up with their parents calling them names like females, calling them B's and H's. And to me, that's a form of abuse. And one of the things that I learned from it is we have enough abuse and enough negativity for children out there in the world. They shouldn't have to hear it at home. That
Yeah.
should be their safe haven. And so I never called my kids out of their name. I never called them anything negative, because when you put that in them, that's what they believe.
Yeah, I agree totally with that. You know, what you put in is what you're gonna get out, basically.
Absolutely.
And I'm reading a thing called Help Guide about child abuse and neglect. The warning signs of child abuse and neglect aren't always obvious, it says. But by learning to recognize the signs of a problem, you can possibly make a huge difference in a child's life. Is recognition of something going on, uh, when you recognize it, do you think that's too late?
No, it's never too late. I mean, at any stage, it's never too late. When it's too late is when they're 6 feet under. That's
Yeah,
when it's too late.
absolutely.
But if you can intervene and stop it before a child is seriously hurt, then it's not too late.
But some of the damage is already done.
Right? But there's, is ways to deal with that. I would prefer that they're here and able to get help than, they're being buried because of abuse.
True, true. So I was looking and I said, well, I'm going to tell some of the myths about child abuse and then throw some facts behind it as well that I've read up on. Okay. Now, here's a myth. Tell me if you agree with this myth. It's only abuse if it's violent.
No, it not. What do you mean violent? Any kind of abuse is violent.
Well, the fact that they have here is physical abuse is just one type of child abuse. Child neglect,
Mhm.
sexual, and emotional abuse can inflict just as much damage. Since the signs are not always as obvious, people may be less likely to intervene.
Well, you know what? I dealt with, thinking back when I had my daycare, I dealt with a form of abuse. It was not physical abuse, it was medical abuse.
Ah,
And that's something that people don't really recognize or see as abuse.
hmm
I had a parent that had 3 children in my daycare, and there was a set of twins. She had a set of twins. They were 2 years old. And they came to me one day, and the children had a fever of 102 degrees. And that's risky for a child that young. And pretty much the whole day they slept. They weren't themselves. They were kind of lethargic. So when they went home that evening, I told the mother, you need to take them to the hospital because this fever that they have can cause brain damage. There's a lot of things that could come with it.
right.
She sent them back the next day. They hadn't went to the doctor or the hospital, and they didn't have any medication. They still had a fever.
Wow.
And so I told her that I wouldn't take her kids in my daycare because they were sick and they needed medical attention. So I sent them back home, and I printed out, what the state of Indiana, they give us a lot of brochures and different agencies. We have to be educated on child abuse, all kind of stuff like that. And so there was a particular class I had taken that actually gave us some information on medical abuse. So I
hmm
printed it out, and I actually printed it and gave it to all of my parents. Well, when I handed it to her, she snapped. She went off on me and said that I was trying to say she was a bad mother. And I'm like, look, your kids are sick. They need medical attention. You need to take them to get some, get this fever broken. And so she basically cursed me out and told me that her kids would never be back in my daycare again. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's your God-given right. 3 days later, she called me up and told me she wanted to send her kids back to my daycare. And I told her, I said, they cannot come back unless they have a note from a doctor saying that they can come back.
Right.
That's what pushed her to take them to the doctor. But my point being is that abuse is not always in a physical state. And a lot of people don't think about the medical abuse. When parents are not giving their kids the medical care that they need, that's also abuse. and it's something that is not talked about. It's something that's not really mentioned because people don't look at it as abuse.
So, Gina, based on those lines, people who give their kids melatonin or gummies, is that considered child abuse?
Well, I don't know much about the gummies of melatonin. If it were me, I would research it more to see what kind of effect it has. I'm not sure what kind of.
Okay, Benadryl. Okay, Cavassier when they won't go to sleep. Hennessy.
Yeah.
The only thing I would give my child is something that's given to me from a doctor. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to give them. I'm not going to give it to them unless it's given from it, because you can give a child too much NyQuil and they can overdose. The medication from a doctor is based on their age, their size. It's a whole lot of things that factor into how much they tell you to give your child.
But you think about it, our parents growing up, oh, give them a little nip, they sleep all night. It's that child abuse.
I think so. What if their child dies? What if they have some kind of adverse reaction? You don't know what putting that in a child's body is going to do to them. I've never done it. And like I said, even with the melatonin, again, I would research it more, even maybe ask my child's doctor, is this okay? Because you don't know what the side effects are going to be.
And some of this stuff is innocent too. Like a long time ago with me, for instance. And this may sound funny. Y'all might laugh at this, but it's true. You get, when you get involved with somebody, man, they got kids, and you want to get busy with the girl, this and that. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I've done this, and God forgive me. Kids never go to sleep; they want to stay up. They're blocking the action. So I get that adult dose of NyQuil to them. And they
what if they didn't wake up the next morning?
I know. I wasn't thinking about that then, though. I mean, you're right. And I'm not trying to be funny. I wasn't thinking about that.
Maybe that's too much NyQuil for a 2-year-old. Maybe that, they are allergic to it. You never know.
No, but at that time, you being a young man, and that's what I'm saying. People aren't cognizant of everything that goes that can be a detriment.
You know what? Was that your son? Was that Jordan?
No.
Okay, well, shame on her. Shame on her, because I never would have let a man give my child anything to put him to sleep.
Well, she didn't know.
Well, shame on you.
Shame on her.
Absolutely.
You let a man around her son or child that didn't.
And you don't know what they're doing to your child.
Mm-hmm.
Chris,
I agree.
But he came out good. But his nickname is Sleepy.
Yeah.
Let me stop.
Point proven.
Let me stop. His nickname was not Sleepy. It did happen, and like you said, Gina, shame on me. At that time, I didn't know any better. I didn't know what was detrimental to anything like that. So I wasn't thinking of that stuff. So, Sleepy, I apologize. You didn't know though, but still, that's not good. Let me kick another myth out here for you guys, okay? Here's a myth: only bad people abuse their children. Now they put a fact right behind it. Not all abusive parents or guardians intentionally harm their children. Many have been victims of abuse themselves and don't know any other way to parent. Others may be struggling with mental health issues or substance abuse problems. What does that sound like to you? Only bad people abuse their children.
That's not true.
Well,
like you said, were you a bad person when you did that with that child? You're not a bad person. You just thought this is a good way to get them to sleep. So
pretty much, I wasn't gonna be with his mom.
You're not a bad person. You just didn't know. So it's not always bad children. I mean, bad parents or bad people to abuse kids. Sometimes it's just lack of knowledge.
Do you think? Let me ask you this, and be honest. As you coming up, now that you know all of this information, all of this good information, do you think, any of you guys, do you think you were abused as a child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wait. Let me put it like this: based on the definition today, yes. But looking back as a child, no, this is what formed.
Uh,
This is what formulated my life.
I don't
That's
even
what.
think.
That's what. And yeah, they call it child abuse now, but I think we need more of it. In a
I don't.
in a
I don't
certain
think it
sense.
was. I don't think it was child abuse. Um, some of the ways that it happened, it can be considered child abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when one form don't work, you have to go to another form. Like we always say,
And that's a good point.
there's
That's
no
a good
book.
point.
Yeah, there's no book on how to parent. You know what I'm saying? You go with the flow.
Right. And that's the point you made, Chris, is a very good point, because out of my 3 children, I spanked my children.
Hmm.
My 3rd child, a spanking did nothing for him. So I moved from spanking him to taking away certain things that he really held dear to his heart, like his PlayStation games. That was more effective than me spanking him. So you're right. You have to know the child and what's really gonna have the most effect on them.
Yeah, and another thing we gotta speak on as far as child abuse goes is, hey, you probably gonna touch on this, Greg, later on, but I'm gonna bring it up now. Is embarrassing the child. That's a form of child abuse.
Mhm.
Yeah, then
You know,
we are going to touch on that. But you know what? I'm going to tell you what I did, and y'all tell me if this is child abuse. So I generally, Jordan is cool. He's great. Okay, I don't really have no problems. But there was a moment when he was in junior high school, I think, and he was just a little bit beside himself. So he thought he was a badass. And so what I did at that time, I said, "Okay, you think you're bad, huh?" He said, "Yeah, I'm the bad one, Dad." So I took him out to Dory Miller,
Oh,
and I told him, I said, "Okay, I'm gonna drop you off." Now,
that's not
you know,
abuse.
I kept my son. My son was clean, had the best. He was always fresh. So I said, "I'm gonna drop you off." He said, "So?" I said, "Okay, this Dory Miller is probably one of the worst, bro. You sure?" He said, "Dad, I can do anything." So I dropped him off. I'm talking about in the dead of Dory Miller, and I pulled off. And now, like I said, my son was all clean and this and that. Immediately, people was looking. I started crying because I'm like, "What did I just do? I didn't kill my son."
You pumped up.
Huh? Yeah. But y'all know how
You
Dory
should
Miller
have.
is.
He could be dad right now.
You know how Dory Miller is. You can't just turn around. Okay, you got to go through these crevices and just get back to where you was at.
Yep.
So it was a while. My son was out there. There was 2 dudes over there right by him, walking with him, right behind him, basically. I pulled up, man. I was like, "Get in the car." And he got in the car. He was shaking. He was crying. I mean, was that abuse?
Well, okay, so let's look at something. And I'm sorry, I've been waiting 2 hours for Chinese food, so that's why my camera's off because I'm starving.
I got a bag waiting on.
They just wrong. But anyway, moving back. Let's talk about rearing versus what's deemed as child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So tough love or the defining of what would be abuse. And if that's the case, is the army is the forces, the armed forces, are they abusive? Because there is going back to something you said last night, Chris. We go back to slavery and the breaking of things and whatever.
hmm
I mean, where's the line?
yeah. I mean, when you talk about the armed forces, especially, it's definitely a form of abuse. That was one of the reasons I wanted to go into the armed forces, and my father told me that there's no place for a black man to go.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what he told. Those are the exact words that he told, and because he was in the army. All my uncles was in, well, I'm not gonna say the army. I have to say the armed forces.
Armed forces.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And my uncles were too. You know what I'm saying. So, but that's what was told to me, and I quickly got that thought out of my head.
Mm.
Because you know they try to break you down. You go in with an attitude. You don't know what to expect, so you go in with an attitude. And they try to break you down to your rarest form to bring you back up.
Right.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
That's exactly what they do. But you know what? It's such sometimes it's such a thin line as far as recognizing child abuse, because I was in a situation when my oldest son was about 8 years old, and I was accused of child abuse by the state of Indiana, and there was no abuse. But the situation that happened, my son had fell out of a tree and sprained his ankle, and so I took him to the hospital. And as he was there, they started examining his body, and they saw scars on his body, different scars on his body. And immediately they thought that I was beating him. I was in the hospital from about 8 o'clock in the evening to 7 o'clock the next morning. I didn't know what was happening at first. Initially, you know, these people other than doctors were coming in. I didn't know who they were. And then they started asking me, they took me in another room and they started asking me all these questions. Was his father in the home? And, you know, do you hit him? Just all these strange questions. And again, at this point, I didn't know what was going on. I did know that the doctor was acting very strange with me. He was being kind of giving me the cold shoulder. I would ask him things like, you know, does he need an x-ray? Or he would just be like real snappy at me. And again, I didn't understand what was happening at that point. Well, later on the next morning, after all, you know, all of these people had come in, took my son and by himself, asked him a bunch of questions. And so then they came to me, and the people who were there were from Child Protective Services. And they told me that, well, your son has these scars on him, so you must be beating him. Well, I had to prove to them my son had keloid skin. And if you don't know anything about keloid skin, every time you get a bruise, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Every bruise that he had from the time he was little till his 8 years of his life were still on his body. Whether he fell off his bike, whether he fell out of a tree, whatever the case may be. And they assumed, because he had scars on his body, that I was beating him, even to the point they were saying, well, his dad's not around, so you're taking out your anger on him. Now, my other two children, they even examined them. They had no scars.
So my question is, who was the doctor, and what's his background that he doesn't know the difference between a keloid and bruises?
Yeah, well, that's what I went through. And I'm not sure at that point if they even knew, you know, I'm not sure. All I know is they had the radar on me, and this apparently was their rationalization for my child having bruises on him. That was what the rationale was. And because my other two children didn't have bruises, I was taking out my anger on him because he looked like his dad. This is all the things they said to me.
Wow.
And they even sent out someone from the agency to my home. I'm living in a 3-bedroom home. I don't live in, you know, public housing and all that. You know, that's how they were treating me. So they came out to my home, and he looked shocked, like, you're in a house and it's clean and you have food. Like, are you beating your child?
Well,
and this is a conversation he had with me. And in the end, what I told them, I said, you know what? You're the very same people who would be coming to handcuffing my child, sending him to jail because he broke into your house. I said, I don't have a need to beat my children, but I do chastise them and keep them in line. But to have the gall to come up in my home and accuse me of something based on what you see and make, you know, a determination based on that, it really angered me. But after he came to my home, I never heard from them again. Never heard from them again.
Wow.
So, you know, that's why I say it's hard to say when there is abuse and when there isn't. And you could lean on the safe side and say, well, I'm just going to call to make sure that that's not what it is. But it can open up, you know, it can be very frustrating, and it was just very frustrating. And it made me so angry, you know, that you assume because I'm a Black woman with 3 kids that I have to be so angry I'm beating my children, or one of them, not all 3 of them, but just one of them who have the same dad, all 3 of them.
I can imagine, man. I can't imagine. Here's another myth, though. Abuse doesn't happen in good families. And here's the fact. The fact is that abuse and neglect doesn't only happen in poor families or bad neighborhoods. These behaviors cross all racial, economic, and cultural lines. And sometimes families who seem to have it all from the outside are hiding a different story behind closed doors. Here's one more. Most child abusers are strangers. And the fact is that while abuse by strangers does happen, most abusers are family members or others close to the family. Do y'all find that to be true?
You have quote unquote abuse that happened within the family. You know what I'm saying? If it's coming from cousins, if it's coming from uncles, aunts, because your family is the privileged, quote unquote, privileged family, and they treat you a certain kind of way because you have everything and they don't have anything. It happens. You know what I'm saying? It's different ways. They might think you're soft because you're spoiled. You know what I'm saying? And they from the streets and they don't really have what you have, and they was on public assistance and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
it happens.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it happens. You know
So
what I'm saying? I don't know if it's considered abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It might be. Well, yeah, it probably is considered abuse because they're picking on you. It's like a bully. A bully, when a bully bullies someone, they're abusing that person.
Okay. I know you guys have seen the movie I Can Do Bad All By Myself.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was abuse. And I saw him out here in Vegas. I wanted to hit him. I had to remember it was just a movie. You can't be doing my kids.
Brian.
Oh, with the little girl.
Yeah.
You can't be doing my
Taraji.
Yeah, I never like to do it anyway. Brian, what's his name?
Yeah.
But he played the role. Okay. So in that movie, the kids came to live with their aunt, and after their grandmother died, and there was a guy in the house who I think he just tried to brainwash her. He even tried to brainwash the guy that the preacher brought over. You know, but how do you think a child feels when they're saying that they're being abused and nobody's believing them?
They lose trust. Like if they can't go to someone they trust and tell them that something bad is happening to them, and no one stands up for them, then when it happens again, if it continues to happen, they're going to keep it bottled up because they don't feel that they have anyone to go to.
So once that trust is gone, does that drive that child to do different things?
Hurt people.
Did you guys see the story for the inmate that's on death row? He's on death row for killing his 2-year-old daughter. Did you guys see that story?
I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
Let me think. His name is can't remember his name, but he actually got upset because his 2-year-old daughter knocked over her potty chair, and he picked the little girl up and slammed her into the windshield 4
Wow.
times. And when they rushed her to the hospital, she died. She died from the bruises. But he was already abusing her even before then. He was already abusing her. And so he's on death row because of this. Now, that's one of the death row inmates that Trump is trying to get executed before he leaves office. And at first, initially, when I heard about Trump trying to get these, I think it's 11 people on death row that he's trying to get them executed before he leaves, and I was like, wow, that's horrible. Why would you do? But when I read this guy's story, I was like, I don't feel bad for him at all. This is one that maybe should go. A 2-year-old baby is dead because from the hands of her own father. I don't think it can get any worse than that.
That's crazy. Wow. It's out there though. Again, it's out there.
It goes back to what I said earlier. You know what I'm saying? It's not a guide on how to parent. And some people don't know how to parent. They don't know how to deal with a baby crying because they're a baby raising a baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Older, but they're psychologically stuck where somebody
Right.
had to them.
Right. And in most of these cases, 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, the father that did that to the child was probably in his mid to early 20s.
Right.
It's
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know how to deal with a child. You know what I'm saying?
Babies having babies.
Yeah. And they don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And the grandma is pretty much really still a baby. You know what they normally say.
Yep.
The grandma 36, the child 20. Yeah,
Sometimes younger than that.
Yeah, and the baby just born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, but there's nothing we can do to change that. We're kind of stuck, but we just got to watch ourselves. Everything is watch yourself. Don't watch out. I hate to live like that. Okay, here's one more myth. Abused children always grow up to be abusers. The fact is that, well, this is what they say. It is true that abused children are more likely to repeat the cycle as adults, unconsciously repeating what they experienced as children. On the other hand, many adult survivors of child abuse have a strong motivation to protect their children against what they went through and become excellent parents. Can you become an excellent parent if you've been abused? Is that true? That you've been hurt so bad that you don't want to see your child hurt? You want to do any and everything to make sure that they don't get hurt?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where you don't want what happened to you to happen to your children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you want to break that cycle.
Right.
That's why you have a lot of parents today that don't hit their children.
Yeah. And there are a lot of parents who can stop the cycle. Not everyone that has been through abuse inflicted on their children or on others. Sometimes you get people who want to stop that cycle, and so they make a conscious effort. But then you have some parents that go over too far where they don't discipline their children because of it. And now you have a child that's just running wild, doing whatever and thinking, this is life. This is the way things are supposed to be because there is no discipline there.
Yeah. And, the other thing is this also comes from the fact of how you're living, because it might be a situation where, you didn't grow up the way you're living right now. It's like better than what it was when you were growing up. So you try to basically spoil your kids in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? And your disciplinary actions is taking away their stuff instead of doing what happened to you. You try to give them everything that you didn't have growing up.
And that's so true. That's where you get the the gold diggers, and the children, the children as they become adults, they want to sell drugs because they want to continue that lifestyle, but they don't want to work hard for it.
Well, most of the time that lifestyle comes from growing up in poverty, and you turn to selling drugs and being a gold digger. Now you're living this certain lifestyle. Now you have a kid in the world, and you're trying to continue giving them that lifestyle that you're living right now. You know what I'm saying? So when that child gets older, that child is spoiled and feeling entitled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And with them spoiled and feeling entitled, that's where they're going out here and doing whatever they want to do because they feel that they have that inkling that can nothing happen to me. You know what I'm saying? And you know how kids today are. You know who my mommy is. You know who my daddy is. You know what I'm saying? So it be those type of situations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was
and we don't see anything wrong with it because we're pretty much raising.
I just have this soft spot in my heart for children because they're so innocent. They're born innocent. They're taught, hate and negativity. That's something that, I have a soft spot for children. And I don't like to read articles where children was hurt or someone, died at the hands of someone else. It really bothers me. It weighs on me.
Yeah. So also I'm looking at here the effects of child abuse and neglect. And it says a lack of trust in relationship difficulties. If you can't trust your parents, who can you trust? Without this base, it's very difficult to learn to trust people or know who's trustworthy. This can lead to difficulty maintaining relationships in adulthood. It can also lead to unhealthy relationships because the adult doesn't know what a good relationship is. And there's also one here that says core feelings of being worthless. If you've been told over and over again as a child that you are stupid or no good, it's very difficult to overcome those core feelings. As they grow up, abused kids may neglect their education or settle for low-paying jobs because they don't believe they're worth more. Sexual abuse survivors with the stigma and shame surrounding the abuse often struggle with the feeling of being damaged. I think that's so true. No?
I mean, I feel it can work that way. And the only reason I say that is because if you mentally abuse a child, they become a mentally dysfunctional, sometimes adult. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, they're take the movie Precious, for instance. You know what I'm saying? She was that movie was one of the movies that pretty much, even though she was abused the way she was abused, she tried to climb up out of what she was going through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even in the even in the what's the movie? The lady with the hair products.
C.J. Walker.
Yeah, Madam C.J. Walker. That situation too. When it came with the light skin and the dark skin, and you're dark skin, you're ugly, blah blah blah. You're light skin, you're pretty. They try to put that on us. You know what I'm saying? That's abuse. You know what I'm saying? Light is light bright is better, dark is evil, and all that stuff, and ugly and all of that, which is not true. You know what I'm saying? If you're black, you're black, no matter what shade you are. We're the only race that can produce any color of
facts
human. You know what I'm saying? So and that's one of the cycles that still goes on today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because that's why you see a lot of and I hate to say this, I know I'm gonna get crucified for this. That's why you see a lot of women with weaves trying to be European, or or try to be light skinned and bleaching their skin to try to look lighter. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it goes back to self-love. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn how to love ourselves better.
Yeah.
Period.
I'm not gonna say first. I'm gonna say better.
Period.
And going back, go ahead.
I was just saying, period. Hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
You got a broken people trying to fix a broken people.
Yeah.
You got broken people.
Yeah.
And I think of it in a lot of different, you know, if every day that I wake up and in my mind I'm a 10, right? I believe I'm a 10 because every day I wake up, I'm telling myself I'm a 10, 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 I'm a 10. Yes, I'm a 10.
Right.
Then one day somebody says, "Girl, you a 6." I'm a 10.
Right.
Day somebody said, "Girl, you know you a 4." I'm a 10.
Right.
The next day, 7 people come right after each other. You a 3, you a 2, you a 1. You're not even a number. And well, maybe I'm not a 10, maybe I'm an 8. The thing of it is like that fly. If you continue to put the lid on that, on the top of that thing, the fly is gonna keep hitting his head so long. He like, shit, I ain't coming back up no more. My head hurt. It ain't me trying to get out. It is what it is. But there's something in people. I don't care what race you are. It's something innate in us that drives us to be whatever we're supposed to be. So, in spite of the situation, we can talk about Oprah Winfrey. How does Oprah Winfrey go from being abused, an orphan, and all of these horrific things to one of the wealthiest, one of the most acclaimed women on this planet? How do we go from somebody like a
Tyler Perry,
a Maya Angelou, the list goes on and on, a Barack Obama? We got all these folks who have risen beyond what was given to them. And by odds, you shouldn't be standing there. By odds, Greg, what, a dope who? Nigga, you was homeless. You don't deserve this shit. But what makes us tick different? What makes us keep going? You know what I'm saying? Because if we end up with the accepting the prognosis that's given to us, then hell, what's the purpose of living?
I'm gonna tell you, man, being homeless is very humbling. You know, I've been there. Again, you know where board school is at. You know where my shelter was at. But what got me through that, man, was I don't know. I think I had more to do after a considerable amount of prayers, dogs coming around into that area I was at, hearing gunshots at night. You know, wondering if I'm gonna be dead or alive the next day. Seeing people walk by trying to hide in the corner. You know, I had more to do. You know, and if God was gonna take me then, He would have taken me then. I got more to do. So to come from being homeless to where I am now, which I still think I got more to do. All right. I think we all have more to do. We all could tell a story of abuse, you know, in some sort of way. We all can tell a story of abuse, but we are the blessed few to be able to come through and be able to have a testimony to tell a story.
You know, I snickered at that. Okay, so you know I'm a graduate of Spelman College, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my freshman year, as in most HBCUs, you are initiated, indoctrinated into the school. And there's a process that we had to go through during our first week on campus. And a lot of people say, well, Spelman women are so conceited. They're this, they're that, they're this. Baby, they planted us and they nurtured us to be who we are. You follow me? So I laugh when you look at that because there's some people who like, there's no way that girl would film. Because I could be hood of the hood with the best of them. But when it's time to be that chameleon, I can also be that chameleon as necessary. Again, what makes me so adaptable? Because there's something in me that God created me to do things differently than the average. I'm not the average. What is it, Yogi Bear?
But you know, that's and coming from the Midwest, Gary, Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, you know, pretty much the black cities.
Mm-hmm.
We know how to do both. We know how to have street smarts and book smarts.
Not everybody.
Not every, I was going to say.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, but majority. Well, I'm not going to say majority,
Mm-hmm.
but some of us do.
My son's a lawyer. She don't know shit about these damn streets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, it's that can pull both off to make you feel like, oh, this person does it. This person was born in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I take pride of it. You know what I'm saying? When people see me, they be like, oh man, he don't know nothing. And I can hold a conversation with anybody, no matter what race. Yeah, no matter what race, creed, color,
Age.
You know what?
But you know what? One thing that my baby did that he did really well. he learned how to speak Chinese and Japanese, and so I'm German. I speak German. I speak Russian. I speak French. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I would laugh because I know the reaction that I would get when I would go into Chicago or whatever, and somebody will start speaking German or Russian, and I'll jump right in, and they'd be like, "What?" But it's something that's classic about a young black boy, clean cut.
Yep.
And we rode into Chinatown and they said something. And my son and all his swag, he looked back and he was like, Shay Shay or whatever he said. They were like, what?
Yeah, she should.
But the fact is that
I got one-on-one Chinese speaking language by being a dealer. You start picking up on what they're saying, being around. And that's what they say. They say if you drop somebody that don't know how to speak the language inside the middle of someone that's speaking a foreign language, and you just leave them there, they will pick up on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I learned German.
Hey, Chris, remember that 3-foot lady, the little 3-foot Chinese lady
that always used to come to the boat.
Yeah. About just
come and play blackjack. That was her thing.
Sweetest woman in the world. Didn't know no.
Yeah. None.
You know, all she knew was monkey.
Yeah. 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 And that's one of the things that. So a monkey in blackjack is a face card.
Face card.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but
I remember.
When you saw me, I'm like, is that good?
Right. Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I remember dealers first time dealing to her.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I got this little lady on here calling me a monkey. Not knowing she's talking about the card.
Yeah. She was so sweet, but she was like you could fit her in the palm of your hand. She was that short. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Sweet lady. But you know, I'm quite sure she took some abuse too for her height. Because she was child size.
Bite size.
I wouldn't bite her, and I'm not talking about midget. I didn't call her a midget. Even though she could classify
you said she was I said bite size.
I wouldn't bite her. Too much SMG or what you call it?
MSG.
I got a subheading here, man. It says emotional abuse. Contrary to some people's belief, words can hurt, and emotional abuse can severely damage a child's mental health or social development. Examples of emotional abuse include, man, I can read good. You know, all these big words.
I see it, man. What college did you go to again?
And you know what? I was taught this in Westside High School, how to read properly, and in drama class with this lady named Miss Maley.
Exactly.
I got an F in drama, believe it or not, because I didn't like the teacher. So I just, you know,
It was only one drama teacher. That was Mr. Boswell.
Well,
That's
no,
right.
it was another lady. When I first got there, her name was Miss Maley.
I don't know her.
It was a white chick, and she was fine
Excuses
as hell.
are the tools of the incompetent.
She was filled with fun. But I didn't want to do nothing with her. You know, I didn't want to. I didn't vibe with her. Al
So
was
basically,
just that point.
basically, what you're telling me right now is I'm surrounded by Krugers. Is what you're telling me.
That's right.
No,
Cool.
that is incorrect.
What is
Oh.
That is an incorrect answer.
No,
And
that's Jocelyn. He is surrounded. I'm at the top. Gina's on the other side. He's surrounded.
I'm surrounded by Krugers.
okay, that's fine. But
I'm
I'm
a
not.
panther. I'm a panther in the corner, surrounded by Krugers. Is what you're telling me.
I don't know which. I'm stinging, folks.
Huh?
I'm stanging, folks.
You stanging.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When that-
I accept that. You know why I accept that?
why
Wait,
is that? Same color?
Because Lou Wallace is built just like Roosevelt. If you really think
Yeah, y'all both close. Now check this out.
about it, you got jokes. But still, the greatest school is coming out that came out of Gary.
What?
Roosevelt,
thank you for the
Roosevelt-
accolade. Thank you so much, Chris. Wallace definitely is the best school that came out of Gary. Thank you so much.
I
Bless
mean, I
you.
don't know. I can't speak for Lou Wallace.
Anyway,
I was talking about Roosevelt, but I feel you. I mean, since you Roosevelt Jr., you know what I'm saying? I feel what you're coming from. I feel what you're coming from.
You know, I didn't know core bottles were also good for earmuffs.
something you said though, Greg, a couple minutes ago about words. You said words could hurt.
Mhm.
So can we just talk about that just very quickly?
We can
We're
talk about it, yes.
about abuse.
Oh.
We're talking about words. Now, I remember growing up, sticks and stones might hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. So I know for a fact there were some things that my mother being a Gemini and I being her daughter as Gemini, there were some hellacious words that were thrown around that, hurt, but they also rolled off. And they also made me sort of resilient to the bullshit that gets thrown at me today. So again, we talking about this thin line of abuse versus rearing. When is it that you say that these words hurt, but we go as Black men and women, as the underdog in this quote unquote society, you're going to continuously get words hurled at us. And when do we get back to the point where words don't hurt us?
I've been that way my whole life.
But
So
there's too many people that are not.
yeah, I've been that way my whole life. So like the word when I say you kill people with intelligence
True.
instead of physically, that's been a motto of mine since I was young. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone of another race called me the N-word,
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
I say that's an ignorant person.
Mm-hmm.
So who's acting like a nigga now?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know how to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
I don't have a racist bone in my body.
right.
Ain't that the first thing you throw out?
And then what's the sentence right after that? I got 3 Black friends.
Yep. Yep.
Somebody actually told me because they got 1.5 Black friends. Okay,
1.5 because one of them is
in a midget.
Nah, probably someone that was mixed.
Yeah. Hey man, you know what? They got here a few examples of emotional abuse. Constant belittling or shaming and humiliating, calling names and making negative comparisons to others, telling a child they're worthless, they're bad, they were a mistake. Frequent yelling, threatening, or bullying, ignoring or rejecting a child as punishment, giving them a silent treatment, limiting physical contact with a child, no hugs, kisses, or other signs of affection, exposing a child to violence against others, whether it is against the other parent, a sibling, or even a pet. How many of those can we say that we've actually done? Because I know my son, and I can only speak on that, every day when he was little, and when he's grown too, I get a kiss on the cheek, And if we have to call each other, we'll FaceTime each other. He said, "Dad, I love you." Every single day, 26 years of his life, I've gotten all of this. I've gotten nothing but love. But so the limiting physical contact with the child, that's not me. Okay, now exposing the child to violence against others, whether it be against the other parent, a sibling, or even a pet. My son has seen me put his mama's dog in the microwave. Okay, so that I didn't turn it on, though, Johnson. Put it in there. I didn't turn it on. The dog just kept making noise. I put him in the microwave. The dog that's the bite-sized dog, the pocket dog.
Hey, like I say, with children, it's not a guide out there on how to be a pet owner.
Yeah.
Well, I think we kind of know not to put them in the microwave, Chris.
Hey,
I just want to.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that meme of a cat inside of a blender? And for $30 billion, would you press?
It will be fricasseed and electrocuted. If you look, I would be like, hey, I would ask the question: how many minutes do you want on this cat?
Would you like to
$1 million per minute? Because I'm gonna plus 75 minutes on that.
come on.
I got things to do. So
You couldn't put this fish in the microwave.
he can't fit.
The microwave.
Hold on, I'm gonna show you a dog that fits.
Ouch.
And I don't think, me personally, I don't think it was neglect.
What did you say about my black dog?
I said it's too big. It won't fit. Believe me, I know. I've done.
Are you going to play the child abuse video today?
Which one is that?
Right.
Which one would that be, Jim?
That's child abuse.
The fan.
Don Rich's video. That's child abuse.
Hey,
child abuse.
y'all want to see something? Here's another form of child abuse right here. Don't judge me.
That's not child abuse.
Look at them clothes. Look at them clothes.
Look at
Hey,
them.
that's not child abuse, bro.
Look at that afro.
Hey.
That was a style during that time.
Look at that afro.
That's not child
You
abuse.
look well taken care of.
Look at them
No.
clothes. Look at
No,
that.
that was,
You got your fro all laid, all nice going on.
Hey, man.
Those was those
Button
times.
down shirt.
You look the same. Is that the same shirt?
Or if it
I was
is-
gonna say the same thing, Jocelyn.
Yeah,
Hey,
that
that
ain't,
was- I had a, look. They shaved my mustache and beard off.
yeah, that ain't child abuse, man. That's what it was during them times.
Man, that's child abuse. I felt abuse. And, I didn't
You know,
like.
you
No,
wait,
child
wait,
abuse is your
you know,
mama
you know,
making an outfit for her and you, and y'all dress alike.
Here's
That's
one.
not child abuse. That's not child abuse.
Tell your mommy.
Here's
Because you
one
gotta
more.
realize this is what we fail to realize. What we fail to realize, if the time of the clothing didn't change, we wouldn't even think about it.
I would. I really would think
Another
about
beautiful picture.
it.
Nah, if the timing of the clothing,
Greg, put your phone up.
if the time, nothing wrong. What's wrong with that? You look like hi.
Okay,
He look like hi.
Gina, if you remember me,
I'm a Capricorn.
my afro was much bigger than this. Okay, my father made me cut my hair for my senior pictures.
Have you seen the
I'm
video
just
with
wondering
the
why
man-
you still have those
You doing
pictures
like
on your
this?
phone.
No. Somebody sent this to me.
Oh, okay.
the video where the man's coming out. He does different videos, but he come out the shower and he. That's what.
I got one more picture, Jocelyn. This was when I was actually homeless and trying to start doing my show. I was homeless here, but you wouldn't know I was homeless. But look at that suit I had on. That's me with the greasy one.
Is that Disco Enterprise?
With the big whispers mustache. You see that?
Is that Disco Enterprise?
No, this is Studio 925 on the move.
I thought that was Charlie Murphy for a minute.
My dance show that I had. But I didn't just I was home prepared, so I was walking to the studio from that spot, all of my clothes there, and
But you was ready for the revolution.
I had to be because I said I'm not gonna fail.
But you know,
Not
but
gonna-
but it goes back to what I
I
said.
did every one of these women in
You,
this.
you should have. That's your winning suit then.
Yeah, it's one of those
That's your
situations.
winning suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. Like I said, if the time of the clothing styles didn't change, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Oh, and by the way, there's Ujimar.
He doesn't have a beard.
He doesn't have long hair either. That's Ujimar in the corner. I let my little brother get on there and become one of the dancers on the show.
Yeah, but I mean, you change. The time changes. It makes us think the way we used to dress. Because one of the things that I laugh at. So, the hairstyle that Megan and Cardi B had in the WAP video,
Right.
they say that. Yeah. Now look, they say, oh, now they're setting the trend of a new hairdo, and I was like, nah, that's been going on forever.
Actually, that go back to what's the movie?
Baps.
No, before that, go way back.
The hairspray.
Grease. What's that? Hairspray.
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 Before that.
Right.
Cooley High had hair like that.
Yeah. Oh, so today I want to debut, since Jocelyn has her saying, things don't just happen, they happen justly.
Mm-hmm.
I am debuting my new saying and my new motto.
Okay.
What did he?
It's don't take it personal, take it with you.
Don't take it personal, take the bitter with you.
Okay, so I love it. But I do have a question.
Yes,
What?
Because Greg brought it up.
Uh-oh.
Mhm.
So I just finished wrapping up a couple presents and hanging out in the living room with Christmas music and everything. Had my little Pandora going with my soulful holiday songs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a Jackson trivia question.
Mm-hmm.
If the Jackson family were devout Jehovah's Witnesses, why did they have so many Christmas songs?
That's the contract that they signed.
Say it again.
That's the contract that they signed.
Oh, so it doesn't matter what God you serve.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I think they daddy whipped the Kris Kringle out of him.
Because people forget that Prince was a Jehovah's Witness also.
I didn't know that.
Larry Graham.
I knew that. I knew that. That's why I don't believe he.
Jensen.
That's why I don't believe he overdosed. I don't believe he was very devout.
Well, the thing about Prince is, in personally booking him for shows, concerts, and all that, they said they found him in the elevator. Prince never took the elevator. That was one of his fears. He said elevator is the gateway to hell. He took the stairs everywhere he went.
I've never believed that story.
So you
Never.
think he was killed?
But it's same thing that happened with Michael happened with Prince. Once he got all his masters, they killed him off.
So you honestly think Prince was killed?
Yes, most definitely.
I think they took him out. He was too powerful,
Michael, once he got all his masters back, they killed him off. Same thing with Michael Jackson. They wanted to redo the Sony deal, and Michael owned 50% of Sony and didn't want to sell.
And the Beatles. Don't forget the Beatles.
No, not even the Beatles. Everybody that came off of Sony, Michael Jackson owned portions of their royalties. So when people say Michael Jackson died broke, that's a lie.
So who owns them now? Did they revert?
As soon as he passed away, they did a new deal. I think it was a Universal deal. They did a new deal with Universal, and the Michael Jackson estate now, at that time when they did the deal, only owned 10%, and they probably only own 3% now.
I wonder if there's any more Michael Jackson songs coming out.
I doubt it.
No.
Think
There'll be more Prince songs coming out though.
That was the difference between Mike and and Prince. Prince was actually a
Working artist.
music creator. He created music.
He
Even
had
though Mike,
7 studios in his home.
yeah, even though Mike was a singer and all that, and he could write. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, he could write, but he couldn't create music like
He was
Prince.
he was an entertainer.
Yeah, Prince knew how to play, I think, 7 different instruments.
And another difference is Prince was had a very good business mind. I went to visit his home, and when we pulled up, I was like, this is like a business. It did not look like a house.
Yeah, the what is it called?
It's the Prince Estate.
Yeah, but it's called what is it called?
Lake Minnetonka.
Paisley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And I'm telling you,
with the purple lights.
one of the things that he had any artist that came to his studio that used his studios, he had them sign a contract that they would sell their own music. They would not sign with record companies.
Yeah.
Because he was just totally against what they were doing to artists and taking all their money, artists working so hard and just getting pennies for all their hard work. So anytime they came to use his studios, he made them sign that contract that they would not sign with the record company and they would sell their own music. That man was a genius.
He was, but you know the crazy part about not even Prince, about the Jacksons, the most talented Jackson really didn't like doing music after he got into the music business. No, it was Randy.
I was going to say Randy. Randy did a few songs.
Randy is the most. Randy can play I ain't gonna say every instrument, but he can play almost as many instruments or more than Prince can play. That's why one time you'll see him on the keyboard, next time you see him on the drum, you might see him on the guitar. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much played all of the instruments on those Jackson albums when he came into the group. So when Jermaine stayed with Motown, when the Jacksons left and with the Epic, you know what I'm saying? Most of those instruments that was played by Randy.
So which label has Victory?
Victory was Epic. That was Epic.
Epic. Yeah.
That was Epic.
Epic is out of California?
Yeah. Yeah, they have an Epic in New York also, though.
Hey, do y'all think Michael Jackson was abused for real?
Well, like I said, I mean, based on their definition, and I'm saying their definition.
Wait. Let's put it together. He's from Gary. His father, he was born, raised in 2300 Jackson Street, which is Midtown Gary. His father used to work in the steel mill. Katie was at home with all the kids.
He got that ass smacked every now and again.
But I mean, do you consider? I just consider that he got whoopings like the rest of us growing up, you know, and the media, of course, blow it up to, you know, he was abused, his father beat him with a belt and made it sound so horrible. And looking back, same things happened to us growing up. Well, me, I can only speak for myself, but I got whoopings.
Yeah.
You know, I got whoopings with belts
and spoons too.
Oh no! See, that's the thing about it. See, whippings with belts, that's not abuse. The wooden fork and spoon, like Johnson said, the hot reel track. Y'all remember when you used to buy it, and who all have boys should know this. The red back with the little white ball.
I never did that with my son.
Oh,
you remember? No, G. That was when we was little.
Oh.
You remember the big red bat? They used to call it the ball. The extension cords,
hangers, shoes.
You remember that little paddle with the ball on it?
Yeah.
Hey, but think about it. We got spankings at school. It wasn't considered abuse.
Spanking, that was a paddling.
No, that was abuse. That was abuse.
It wasn't considered abuse back then.
Coach
that was
Asbury, I'll never forget this. Coach Asbury had half an arm, but he had the worst freaking paddle in the world.
One arm was wrong.
We remember
That
those
arm
paddles. They had names.
Still vibrating.
Yeah. So when I was in middle school in shop class, they used to have us make those little paddles, you know, out of the little plastic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Beat your ass.
Yeah. Just
With
to
the
get
hole,
you.
they had holes in them though. In
Yeah.
the middle of the paddle, they had holes.
Yeah.
That was so that booty meat could just suck up through the
But-
hole.
Yeah.
But Greg,
Yeah.
you came through West Side with QP. You know how QP was. Everybody was scared of QP, but he had the utmost respect. Would you consider that abuse?
QP, I wouldn't.
What the?
I don't know. Verbal abuse.
But we weren't calling the police saying, "Oh, our principal is abusing us."
We had no proof. We didn't have our cell phones back then.
No, y'all didn't have the walkie-talkies. Put the chains on the door. Put the chains on the door. Go red. Go red.
Put the chains on the door.
And you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that movie?
Ouch. Oh.
Do y'all? And this is a trivia for y'all. Do y'all know that Denzel Washington did that movie first?
No, but I just heard my concussion.
The Lean on Me movie that Morgan Freeman did. Denzel Washington did that same movie.
I think Robert told me that before.
It was called. I think the name of it is called Hard. It was one of his first movies. It was done like in the early '80s.
Yeah, I think somebody told me that before.
Oh, it's a terrible movie, but yeah, Denzel Washington was the first one to do.
Ouch.
You good?
No.
You okay?
No.
What happened?
Huh? I
What
did
happened?
expeditiously sound.
No, you hit the wrong spot.
I hit the wrong spot.
You hit that soft spot.
Dude, I'm about to pass the fucking.
You too old to have a soft spot. Dude.
Yeah.
I had the accident, so my head was bumped around a little bit. So
yeah.
I'm not.
It's called lessons.
It's called who? Pubic blessings.
Hard.
Hey, you had a Hard Knocks life. That ain't nothing.
Man.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
What? Hey, don't forget everybody. Thursday. The porch. I'm sorry, the shack. We got to check that out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look at it again tonight. Well, I'll look at it for the first time tonight. I wanted it to be fresh instead of looking at it last week or something like that. I'm gonna look at it tonight.
You're gonna have to watch it.
You're
gonna have to watch it at least 3 or 4 times, bro.
You're right, Chris. I did watch it 3 times.
That's fine.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch it at least 3 or 4 times. You're gonna find something new every time you watch it. You're gonna find something and pick up something new about it.
Where did y'all find it at?
I found mine on Fire Stick. I got mine on Fire Stick.
Yeah, I found it on YouTube.
YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
You were able to watch the entire thing on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tried to share the movie, my screen, but you wouldn't let me.
You said you didn't want us to talk about it, so why would you share it?
I was showing Hard Lessons by Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that's the name of it, Hard Lessons.
That's a good movie.
That movie was not good, dog.
It's a good
That movie was the point, the emphasis of the movie was good, but the movie itself, that was terrible, dog.
Hey man, I thought it was great cinematography. Denzel Washington played the teacher. It was very good. It had some nice acting by the kids. I think the
No man, they got people in East LA. It's like, hey, you want to be in the movie?
Yeah, it's
Oh, I'm about to be real disrespectful. I'm so glad I caught myself.
Oh God. Hey, it's Jocelyn. It's after 7:45, honey. It's after 7:45.
No,
I used to
no,
do the same
no.
thing, man. I used to go run up on people and be like, "Hey, you want to be in a movie?" They'd be like, "How much you gonna pay? How much you gonna pay, man?"
Like, man, you getting exposure to being in the movie.
That's what I told.
Pay.
I'll pay him now,
Right.
No attention.
but I couldn't pay him then. And
No.
even now, man, you still getting exposure. Take this $50 and take your ass on set. Man, that ain't, and I hate when people come in. Somebody actually came to me one day, man, for a movie, a short film that I was doing, and they were like, "Well, I'm gonna need some money because I got to drive my gas out. I got to do this, got to do that." And I'm a model, so I should be paid more than. Okay.
And you should have
You're not aware.
No disrespect to my sisters, Jocelyn and Jana, but that sounded like it was a woman that was talking.
Do we still have to
So
do?
who?
That was a woman that was talking to you. That was telling you that.
Yeah.
Nah.
Most definitely. And she felt that I should pay her because she was all that. And I'm like,
So did she get the?
you're getting exposure. If you're a model, I'm helping your career out right now. Okay. So she didn't want to do it, talking about you ready to do this, you ready to do that. And I'm like, I'm still waiting to see it. She contacted me last month actually. I was like, if you have anything available, I like to act free of charge, no charge. I'm like, yeah. I spelled it out.
The funny part about it is a lot of people are Hollywood before they make it to Hollywood, and it hurts, and it always turns around to bite them in the back. Always, you know what I'm saying? People don't know humbling experience brings greater outcome. You know what I'm saying? You have to really learn the business. Sometimes you gotta, especially in the beginning, and sometimes, everybody be like, "Oh, I need to get paid for my work." Well, you ain't did no work if I'm putting you in your first whatever.
Yeah.
You have to learn the business.
People don't take time to learn anything, man.
No.
Man, my head is hurting. Golly.
Okay, Gina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What was that?
That was to Gina.
Gina, did you understand that estrogen move right there?
That what?
Estrogen move that she just.
Yes, I did.
Oh, hey, I was getting ready to put that on whatchamacallit, man. I'm sorry. Yeah,
You need to go take some medicine.
My head is gone, man.
You're delirious right now.
I am. It just changed up everything for real.
No, you got to put on a real.
You might need to hit the other side. It might get you back to the other side. Do it on the other side. You got to balance it out right now, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing I drink core water.
That's gonna help. Great plug.
All hydration helps everything. All right, trust me. It is perfectly pH balanced. Water.
Guess what, everybody? I have an announcement. I got my state relief foundation. Yay!
Yay, Johnson! Congratulations.
Finally.
Oh man, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so we were talking about what? I am in some kind of pain here, but it's okay. Damn. Was Michael Jackson? Did I say that already? Was the Jackson? Was the whole family? Was Latoya abused? Because she tell her you're a rat.
She was abused by her husband.
Okay,
she went through a domestic abuse.
There's a better question.
Did she marry a divorce too?
Here's a better question though. Should she have been abused?
I can't.
No, you can't. No one should be abused.
Well, I'm
Yeah, she should have been abused. I think she got abused.
You say that.
I think she got abused for all the stuff they knew she was about to tell in the future. I think that's why she got abused. They knew she was the title teller. They knew she was the title teller. Reby is the most purest one out of the group.
Ready?
That was my joint. Centipede was my joint.
That was the terrible video I ever seen in my life.
It was, but I was in love with me some Reby, but I was young.
Can I get some video love?
Yeah, Reby.
That's how I went to Jocelyn.
Reby's a sea hag now.
Well,
she's Alice the Goon. She's a sea hag.
I just want to go back to, why did you guys think she should have been abused?
Because they knew she was going to be a title player when she got older.
Look at her.
He's a snitch.
Look at her. She did Playboy for attention. She snitched on her brother for attention. She married this white Italian, whatever the hell he was. I don't know what she did that for.
He gotta be white. Why can't he just be light skinned?
That's what I asked her. I said, Latoya, why can't he just be light skinned? I asked her the same question. Then you know what I told her? I said, things don't just happen, Latoya. They happen justly. So watch it.
No. Go ahead, Chris. We're waiting on yours. Go ahead.
No.
Don't take it personal. Just take it with you.
What is Chris, hold on. Let me straighten my mic up. Chris, what does that mean?
That means whatever I tell you, don't take it personal. Just take it with you. Take it with you. I don't need no reply. Just take it with you.
Take it with you.
Beat it.
Don't take it personal. Take it.
That dude.
Easy come.
And you know. People used to clown Jermaine. Jermaine had some songs, though.
Yeah.
Jermaine got some songs.
Jermaine got the original Steve Harvey here.
Dude, did you look, I was watching Def Comedy Jam 25th something another it was, okay? Steve Harvey came out there. He came out there in this.
Did his hair come out first?
They show where he was doing something because he was talking about his I was talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the camera showed the audience. Steve had a bald spot in his head right there. It was a big old bald spot when he had the little hair. So Steve had a toupee on when he was doing the Steve Harvey show.
You just figuring that out?
The medulla oblongata, I've been popping it. It's coming out now. Facts. Cut this off. Facts.
He was the original black for the hair club of men. For men.
Yo.
Bill Puff set him straight.
You're right.
But if you look at him on YouTube now, he gets some of the most inspirational moments. Like in between shows, in between the Family Feud, when they go to commercial, he gets out there and he talks to the audience. And he tells them some of the most prolific, some of the most inspirational things I've heard in a while. Seriously. And this could be my concussion talking. But,
I hope it wasn't one when he was trying to motivate people to continue to move forward, but his math was off.
But his bathroom was what?
His math was off.
Oh, his math was off.
He was like, you gotta keep moving forward. He's like, Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player to ever live. He took 946 shots.
Mm-hmm.
He said he missed 800 of them. No, he said he missed 700 of them. He said, but those 146 shots that he hit, and I was like, that don't add up, Steve. That's 846, not 946.
It was allegory. He was just trying
And
to.
then Kevin Hart reposted it. I was like, Kevin, you didn't listen to it before you put it up.
He was just trying to make a point.
I understand, but if you're gonna make the point, make the point valid. What happened to the other 100 shots? Where did they go?
Chris out there with all the other Chinese with their abacus. He sells 700 for.
Monkey.
Your order shit, your eat shit. So he was just giving a.
I understand what he was trying to do.
Yeah,
but if you're gonna do it, make sure it adds up.
Man, y'all get off Steve Harvey, okay?
You know I'm gonna talk about the brother all day, every day.
And I don't like him. I got a actual VCR tape.
No, I'm not even going to finish that. Nope.
I can't. I did not.
Because you started it with a VCR tape.
VCR tape. That's what he's
better. It's better than beta.
You know what? 8-track.
If I could, where's that tape at? I got it, and I just got to find out how to get it transferred, and then I'm gonna tell you an interview with Steve Harvey when he's at GCI, working at WGCI.
Mm-hmm.
This man totally disrespected my show, but
really?
Yeah, oh man, he got on there. I said, look, beforehand, him and Gene Sparrow were on there, and I was like, hey, Steve, look, man, thanks for doing the show. No problem. I said, don't curse on the show though, okay? Just you can use. I will tell everybody what curse word they use. You can say damn and hell, okay?
Yeah, right.
That's it, okay? So did the interview. The interview was great. Steve slipped up and said something. He said, "Oh, I forgot. I wasn't supposed to cuss on your little show." My little show. And then I couldn't say words like "motherfucker," "shit," "bitch." He would start going through all the words, and I'm like, "Dude, hold up, man, hold on." And he just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. He said, "Oh, I ain't supposed to cuss on your little show." I'm like, "Dude, my little show. You will be on my little show, okay?" So it is what it is. Don't never minimize me. I will cut you up. I'm very good, Jocelyn. I'm very good at talking about people. I'm really good. I kind of perfected that. So if I was going to do a comedy show, don't sit in the front row. I got you. I got you. You can say what you want about me. It bounce off me like rubber. What's that old saying, Jocelyn?
People who talk about people, small-minded people talk about people.
Well, damn, that wasn't the same.
Talk about ideas.
Yeah, that wasn't the one I was looking for, though. But now
we're not gonna talk about people no more. We're gonna talk about ideas.
You just totally hurt me.
You're beautiful.
Badass.
I throw that in. That was the best part.
Now that's the one you have to play every day, not the abusive one.
Was that a boy or girl?
Adorable.
We don't care.
Adorable.
You're beautiful. You're smart. You're loved. This week we're great. You got this. You're a badass. You can do this. You're a
all right, that next to the last smack, man, he almost swallowed that one. He's like, almost swallowed that one. That is the biggest thing I've seen in my. Is that a boy or girl?
It doesn't matter. It's adorable.
Yeah, we don't care. We never tried to figure it out.
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
It could be a boy or a girl, whichever you choose.
Hey, is this a boy or girl?
Everybody, all right. Woo, where's your mama?
How many times DCFS has showed up at his door?
But this is the part that really gets me about that video. Did you see when he picked the baby up off the floor? The baby hair is standing up in the back.
He paid attention to detail. Period.
When you get back.
Pay attention to detail. And yeah,
Oh.
and if he gets arrested, it's gonna be my fault. I'm gonna have to get him out. I'm gonna have to bail.
You're gonna have to.
I have no choice. But everybody, that was not. Look, the children that are performing in this Dope Living TV live are not necessarily the children of Dope Living TV employees.
Look.
Well, y'all just get ready for the 10th. You have exactly 1 day left to get the video in, get the movie in, and prepare yourself and prepare your thoughts. I will have some thought-provoking questions and discussion prepared based on what we've done over this last week.
I think tomorrow I'm going to
excited.
put a post
I'm ready.
with a picture of the movie. I'm gonna put a post up.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hosted by Johnson R.W. Kelly.
Dope Living.
I won't be there.
Yeah, you will.
I might miss it.
You'll be there too.
Okay.
I'll call y'all. I'm gonna put you. I'm gonna open the platform up. Then I gotta bounce.
No, you'll be there.
Sure.
You'll be there. You'll be there with bells on.
With bells on high.
I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna come on, but every time you ask me a question, I'm gonna exit out.
You gonna be so thought provoked. You're not even gonna be able to figure out how to get out.
It's gonna be like old times though, man. Like back in school, teacher have us watching this film and we fall asleep, and then we pretend we just coast through them answers. Didn't make no sense to the answers that we gave them. Okay, but
I can't.
so what did you know about the Revolutionary War? I don't know. It was some black people on one side, some white people that was working with them. Okay, they was all picking cotton. You know, you ain't seen not a bit of the movie. You fell asleep when the movie started. I used to hate that in class, man. Playing that movie, but we survived. We made it. That was abuse. That was abuse.
But when they pulled out the projector,
Come on. It was real abuse when they said, "Okay, Greg, it's your turn," and you didn't know how to thread the film into the. Everybody waiting. Like, hey, hurry up.
You had to go to the what they call it, the media closet, to get the card.
Yeah,
to wheel it in the room.
Exactly. Everybody had the same media card. It was always in the closet or in the library.
Right. You always had to go down to the library.
You had to rent them.
Right, you had to rent them.
Then you rolling down the hallway. Now, one time we had an elevator, but when the elevator was broke, we had to carry the projector upstairs first. Then we had to carry the cart, go back and get the cart.
In twos.
Yeah.
Those were the days. Oh, y'all remember meat pizza?
Mm-hmm.
That meat pizza was good. I'm sorry. Every Friday, meat pizza.
Yes.
Yes, I'm telling you. Then I in my junior and senior year, I don't know if you ever went upstairs, Gina, to the top of the gym, but I DJ'd the sock hops, And who was in there? Charles Metcalf doing the monster spank.
Oh my gosh.
All he was doing, that's the only dance he knew. That and how to bop. Monster spank and how to bop. And Charles had the muscles, and he had the matter of fact, that sweater y'all saw me in, that little sweater shirt. Charles had one of them, the same size, okay? He was big, he was real big too, but he had the same size as the one I had in 5th grade. Up there doing the spank and all of that. That's abuse too, man. Abusive situations when I was in high school. I didn't know Charles Metcalf and Charles, if you're watching, bro, that's actually my cousin. But I didn't know Charles had been in boys' school. So I was little Karate Joe, okay? But I was the studious one. I used to always wear suits and this and that. So one day, Charles, it was in the 10th grade, Charles kept messing with me. All the time, he pushed my books out from under my arm.
This your cousin?
Well, we found out recently. Let's put it like that. Since we've been grown. But he would always do that. And I look back, he like, what you looking at? And I wouldn't say nothing. I had my friends with me. They didn't tell me nothing, okay? So one day, Charles knocked my books out, and I said to myself, I ain't gonna take it no more. All right. He looked back at me, he's like, you gonna do something? And Charles didn't have any hair, he was bald headed and muscular, but I knew karate, I knew taekwondo, I was pretty cool with everything. Everybody was respecting me. And I was like, hey man, I ain't gonna take it no more. My guys was like, Greg, no. I'm like, nah, man, fuck that, man. This dude right here, I'm tired of him. So I had my tie on and my crushed velvet jacket on. You know, I had my little briefcase with me. But Charles come back. What you say? I said, I ain't gonna let you do this no more, man. You better step off. So I got ready. Charles started laughing. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna see, you know, a little stupid stuff. We're gonna see who last person gonna be laughing. Charles was like, go ahead. That's when I start thinking something ain't right. Because this dude is grinning, number one. Then he told me, go ahead. He put his hand behind his back. Go ahead. So I'm like, doing all of this, doing all my cards, getting ready. Pow! Hit Charles in the chest. Then I say, bow with the left. I came over, hit Charles in the jaw. This dude didn't move. So, Jenny, you know, I don't know if you all been to West Side, but y'all know what the surge area is. He proceeded to walk me all the way down the surge area and all the way back up the surge area. When I say walk, I mean drag, okay? This dude drugged me. And on each side of the surge area, it's people, full of your people, your peers. You know, I was the cool dude. I was very popular, but Charles drugged me up and down that surge area. I was so embarrassed, okay? But after that, me and Charles were the best of friends. I was in the 10th grade at the time. My first year there. Nobody ever messed with me. Nobody ever messed with me again. There was one guy, the girl I took to the prom, her name was Barbara. I ain't gonna tell you her last name. Girl I took to the prom. She was dating this one guy who was in this singing group. He was a choir boy. And I wanted to take Barbara to the prom. So I stepped up too. I said, hey, you want to go to prom with me? She said, you know, I have a boyfriend. I'm like, I ain't asking boyfriend. I'm asking you. And so she said, I don't know. I said, you don't know? We've been knowing each other for a while, girl. You going to prom with me? She said, okay. Dude kept coming by my locker. He's like, hey, man, talking to Barbara for? I said, if it's any of your business, I'm going to take you to the prom. He said, that's my girl. I said, you better talk to her then. Him and his choir boys met me outside, okay? There was two other guys that was always with him, choir boys. I was like, oh, my God. Are y'all serious about this? Curtis, which is Barbara's boyfriend, he walks out. He's like, hey, man, I'm calling you out. I'm like, man, who says that? Who says you calling me out? It's time for me to go home.
The episode of Cooley High.
No, this is real. So, long story short.
I'm just waiting on the drive turkeys.
What no drive turkey? But the long story short, the guy, he came up to me, you know, and this little choir boys, they cracking their knuckles and all this old mess, okay? I didn't know Charles was behind me. So the other two guys steps back. Curtis is right there. And he's like, hey, man, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Charles said, Greg, you need some help? I said, no, dude, I need no help with these. I said, they sing, dude. They choir boys. I don't need no help with them. He said, okay. He said, you two, y'all let them two handle it. If any one of y'all step in, I'm beating all y'all ass. And so me and Curtis fought. I whooped his ass. I ain't gonna lie. Curtis, if you're watching, okay, you crazy anyway now. So you're crazy. I mean, because Curtis right now, I saw him on the street one day. He was like the other day. He was just talking, man. He's just talking to himself.
That was left over from you whooping his ass.
Had his prom suit on.
You know what? I can't. I'm going to bed.
He had his prom suit on.
I'm out.
Come up to me, it's like, hey man, she was my day. His eyes all cocked now. I think I knocked it cocked.
Oh wow!
No.
was the
You remember Curtis?
I remember Curtis. I remember Charles Metcalf too. He had a restaurant on Fifth Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still in Gary?
Who?
Charles.
No, Charles in Texas.
Okay, he dated my neighbor Deborah Jarrett.
Yeah, he dated my ex-wife.
Oh wow! No wonder you were salty.
If you're watching, baby, I mean, hey, That's
No
on y'all.
wonder, no wonder you salty.
I ain't-
I was about to say he dated Barbara too, but
Hey man, look, I can tell you about, look, Barbara was a square, man. She was really a square. Beautiful though. Next time I'll show y'all the prom picture. But beautiful. And she I did her wrong. I did her very badly.
Oh,
What'd you say in that background, Jocelyn?
Why would you do her wrong?
Because I was a player at the time. I was that dude. And I'll put it like this. I went to the prom with her. I'm not gonna name the other girl's name, but I took her home because she wasn't acting right. Took her home and took somebody else to Michigan with me. My aunt and uncle had a house out there at the time, and took old girl with me to Michigan. Aunt and uncle, they were real loose with everything, so they let me and her stay at the house for the weekend. The other girl, and if I named her name, y'all would know her, but I'm not gonna say it.
Say her name. Say her name.
Gertrude Gefelsterfish.
I can't stand you.
well, I'm just gonna pose one question before we go backstage. When we go backstage, I'm not doing the jury closing out the show. But my question is, would you guys report any kind of abuse that you would see? I mean, I think it's kind of, the reason I ask is because, when I had my daycare, sometimes I would see things that didn't just sit right with me, but I didn't necessarily report them as abuse. So when would you get to that point where you would call an authority? Would it be at a point where somebody's just, you see them getting beat down, or when would you get to that point?
are we talking about kids or we talking about grown people?
We're talking about kids.
Oh yeah.
That's a good question, Gina.
That is a good
And
question.
I'm sure it's a question a lot of people have in their head. Like, even if you see something that's, even borderline abuse to you, when do you get to that point when you're going to say, okay, it's time to call the authorities? I think people struggle with that. Because if you're wrong, think about if you're wrong, the consequences that you're taking that person through.
If it's definitively, and I can see it as definitively abuse, first, I think the first thing that I would do is see what the parents are doing. Okay. And if the parents of that child are not doing what I think, if I think that the child has suffered immeasurably from this, I'm gonna have to step in and say something. I'm gonna tell yes, because the child is innocent. They don't deserve to be treated that way. So if it's something that's definitive that I can do, I would check the parents, because you can't tell these parents anything. Okay, I would check the parents and see what the situation is. And if I see that the parents are really doing nothing and perpetuating this action, then I'm gonna tell.
Chris?
I mean, it's pretty much what Greg said. I mean, you really have to
Assess the situation.
Yeah. It's all about assessment, because if you're wrong about the situation, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much, street rule number one, mind your business.
Right.
But when it comes to kids, you know what I'm saying, you just really have to take it all in.
What about your thoughts, Jocelyn?
I don't know. It's like, damned if you do, you damned if you don't. But the first interest and the most important interest is the safety of that child. I don't know.
It's a hard question to answer.
It is a hard question.
It is.
But I think you should just assess the situation first, and then go from. Because I don't like seeing kids suffer. That used to be one of my charities. But I can't stand it when a child who cannot defend themselves and are being abused. I've seen people in grocery stores slap the hell out of their kid.
Mhm.
And grab,
Yeah, and they curse them just straight out.
yeah, real violently. Just grab them. I'm thinking that, so hard that I think the arm's gonna pop off, man. It's like,
Yeah.
and then they slap them real hard, and that kid do one of them long ass cries like.
You know what, Greg?
Well, it's one of, like you said, like Greg said, you gotta assess the situation because sometimes if it's warranted, you let the child beat that kid
As a matter of fact, I know you didn't have friends or family members that you said you need to beat his ass. I know you. We all got that one.
I've had situations where I've snatched up somebody else's child and I felt so horrible afterwards.
Hey, Whoopi told Oprah's husband, Oppo, beat him. It's abuse has been going on for years, even in the movies. So it's like, hey, what can you do? What do we need to do? Change the pattern. Do we shut the TV off? We stop learning that situation from TV. I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, children are innocent, and we got to protect them by all means necessary. And if we continue to let children be abused, are we letting or initiating more abusers to be growing up doing the same thing? Is there an answer to how do we curb this? We could say break the pattern, break the circle, but there's really no real answer on how we can do it because it's a case by case. To me, it's a case by case situation. So all we can do is just pray that we don't know anybody that's in that situation, and if we do, as Gina pointed out with that question, if we do, what do we do? If that situation persists, what do we do? Never know. I don't wish that on anybody. And as we get through in the week after, I think Friday we can sum it up. But tomorrow we can talk about domestic abuse and with men and women, and whomever the adult version of this abuse. Thursday we're talking about the porch.
The shack.
I meant the shack. My head is gone, y'all. I'm sorry. The shack.
The baby house.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna have an in-depth conversation. I'm gonna post something tomorrow, and we really want the listeners to get into this as well. All right. But and I'll make sure that we get some extra people on here. Just sit and enjoying everything we're talking about and enjoy the movie as well. And then Friday is freestyle. We're gonna get it in, and then next week we'll have something completely different. So until next week, there goes Gina Gasson. Next week, I said I'm done, y'all. Chris, can you tell me, man? My head is going.
Well, we go.
That's in 2 weeks to Christmas.
Yeah.
Bah humbug.
No, bah humbug.
You know what's crazy?
Don't put that out there.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is in 23 days it'll be 2021.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't it seem like it was just New Year's yesterday?
Well, we welcomed in 2021. If we knew what was going to happen in 2021, we wouldn't have had a New Year's. We wouldn't have welcomed that in at all.
This can truly be said. In every sense of the word, we can truly say Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Every sense of the word. Because
Yes.
2020 was just shot.
Whew.
Started off with Kobe and it just went downhill from there. So we can truly say on the December 31st, going into at 12 o'clock midnight, Happy New Year and really mean it this time.
Yes. I think
I
we
don't
all
know.
gonna breathe in a sigh of relief.
I don't know. I don't think New Year gonna start until January 21st.
Yep. Yeah, that's when it's gonna start.
It's
That's
gonna
when it's
start
gonna
January.
start. We're gonna celebrate on the 20th.
Yeah, we celebrate. It's gonna start on the 1st though. If we still here, you know.
Yeah,
We'll be here.
we'll still be here. I'm just saying. I don't think people ain't gonna celebrate. People not gonna celebrate the New Year to the 21st.
Mhm.
Hey,
Yeah.
maybe we,
The
maybe
20th is gonna be New Year's Eve.
maybe on next week we can talk about how do we feel about the old year going into the new year, you know.
And what's gonna be different about 2021?
Yeah, that's next week, y'all. We're gonna do that, okay? But until then, man, this is me with the severe headache, okay? Uncle Chris Mills and Arthur Gina Gasson, and that's Justin R.W. Kelly, man. We're gonna see you guys tomorrow. We're talking about domestic abuse, older people now. So let's get it in, y'all. It's DopelivenTV. We'll see you tomorrow.